This is my iPhone 3G, and it has been giving me so much problems lately. This is actually my 7th iPhone, and it all started back in January 19 when I got my first iPhone. Now the first iPhone, everything was perfectly fine. It was working properly, and there's nothing wrong with it, nothing physically or internally wrong with it. But I decided to sell it because I want to get iPhone 3G. So on July 11th, I got iPhone 3G, and the day it came out, we had 3 hours in line for it, and everything was working perfectly fine with my first iPhone 3G. There's nothing wrong with it, no physical, physical flaws or, or functionally it was wrong or broken, nothing like that. It was working perfectly fine. But then what happened is a month later, on August 15, I dropped my iPhone 3G, and a day later I found out that the Edge network wasn't working properly on my iPhone 3G. It's been constantly disconnecting. So I took it back to the Apple Store and demanded a replacement. They gave me a replacement, and once again that iPhone 3G had the same problem as the first, which is the Edge network wasn't working. And as it turns out, it wasn't the phone that wasn't working properly, it was the SIM card. The SIM card had a couple scratches on. So I took it to the AT&T store and had them replace the SIM card with a new SIM card, and of course it worked. So that was my second iPhone 3G, and everything was working great. Had it for another month or so, and then suddenly out of nowhere, GPS isn't working. So I took it back to the Apple Store again, and this actually happened just last week. So I took it back to the Apple Store, and they gave me another replacement. And then I was on my way back to the parking lot. I was still parked outside Apple Store. I was on my way walking outside, and when I looked down on the screen on my iPhone 3G, my third iPhone 3G, I saw a little dust on the screen. So I just took it back. I went back to the Apple Store and said, look, there's dust on the screen. So they gave me another replacement. I took that one, and at first I thought there was no dust on the screen. Everything was perfect. It looks fine. So I was on my way driving back home, and then I looked down again, gave it a more thoroughly or more search on the screen, and I found once again this tiny little particles, tiny little dust on the screen. So angry as I was, I went back to the Apple Store again, and this all happened on the same day. Went back to the Apple Store and said that this is my second time coming back here, and look, or my third time coming back here, and look, there's dust on the screen. So they took a look at it, and they said, yeah, there was some dust on the screen. So they gave me another iPhone 3G, and then once again dust on the screen. So they replaced another one, and they went through 3 iPhones, and all of them has dust on the screen. And then they finally found one where there's no dust. So I took that one, and I was satisfied. There's no dust on the screen. I gave it a more clear inspection before I left to make sure there was absolutely no dust on the screen. And there was a tiny little dust, but it was really tiny and it doesn't really matter. But so I took that one home, and it was during that same night. I had my lights off. I was going through my iPhone, and then I bent my case over like this and saw on the left side right here light leaks. Lights were leaking through where the silver chrome meets the screen. Lights were leaking through right here. So I was angry at first. Once again, flaws on the iPhone 3G. I don't understand why. I thought that I must be the most unlucky person in the world to get all these problems happening to my iPhone 3G. So, and on top of that, the next day I found out that 3G network has been constantly dropping from where I am right now. And this problem never happened in my my first iPhone or my first couple iPhone 3Gs. They didn't have these drop signals, but new one, the I believe was the 4th iPhone 3G I had constantly drop signals while I'm at home, sitting right here. So I was angry, took it back to the Apple Store, said that 3G network wasn't working and there's light leaks. So the Genius Bar person took a look at it. He said he couldn't find any light leaks. and he said that he couldn't test for the 3G signal, or he couldn't make a diagnostic and see if there's anything wrong with my iPhone. But he said he couldn't see any light leaks at all. But I told him that you had to be in a dark area to see it. So he believed me. He said that, but he warned me that if he give me another replacement, that will be my last replacement. I can't keep taking the iPhone 3G back to the Apple Store because of tiny little issues like light leaks or dust on the screen. He told me that this is the last one. So like, fine. You know what? Doesn't matter. If you're gonna give me another replacement, this one has a problem in it, then so be it. I'm tired of coming back to the Apple Store anyways, because the Apple Store, the closest Apple Store to where I am right now, is a 30-minute drive. So in that 1 weekend, I went back at least 5 times, and all these times I got replacement iPhone 3G replacements. So I finally got my last iPhone 3G. Hopefully it's my last iPhone 3G, which is this one. And took it back home. There's not a lot of dust on the screen. There's one tiny one right here, but you can't see it, which is alright. And there is light leaks right here where the Chrome meets the screen. There is light leaks. You only can see it in the dark, and it's not as bad as the previous iPhone 3G light leaks, but it's still there. So this is officially my 7th iPhone, including my first iPhone, or iPhone first generation, when I got back in January 19 of this year. So my 7th iPhone, and yeah, still problems with it. There are some stuck pixels, you know, tiny dust on the screen, light leaks, and I also found that the ringer button is really hard to push down, and this never happened in my previous iPhones. I went online and checked. They said that there are people who had the ringer switch on the iPhone 3G fell off, and the problem is because it was so hard to push down that, you know, constant friction had loosened the switch a little bit, and eventually it just popped out. It just fell off. I'm definitely worried about that, okay? Because it is kind of hard to push it down. It's alright when you push it back up, but going back down is hard. So I'm just afraid that, you know, one day I'll be turning off the silent switch and it just drop off. And I do not want to go back to the Apple Store again. I'm just hoping that this is my last iPhone 3G. No more. I don't want to get any more replacement. I don't want to see another Apple Store for at least another 6 months or so, because I am so tired of Apple right now, and so tired of constant replacement iPhone 3G. So yeah, all these little issues, you know, I don't exactly blame Apple directly, but I blame the people who made it, the manufacturers in China. They did not assemble it correctly. So there are all these tiny little flaws in it, you know, dust on the screen, light leaks and all that, you know, hard ringer switch, stuck pixels. I mean, all these problems are all manufacturer problems. And in a way, it is kind of Apple's fault, but I mainly blame the people who manufacture it, or the people who made it, because some people aren't taking the job seriously. My first iPhone 3G, there was nothing wrong with it. It was just a SIM card that was broken, but otherwise there's no dust under the screen, no light leaks, none of that. Now this iPhone 3G, now SIM card may be working properly, but you got all these little flaws, and oh well. So this is my story of my iPhone, and it's been a tough month. I mean, constantly replacing this phone. I just really hope that this is my last iPhone 3G. I'm just so tired of replacement. Hopefully it won't suddenly stop working, or like GPS stop working, or 3G stop working, or nothing like that. And hopefully the ringer switch won't fall off or anything. If it does fall off, then I guess I can just always screw it back on. But yeah, what a hassle. So this is my story. Thank you for watching.